My name is Yvonne Ceballos, your room monitor, and I will not move. Our speakers today are volunteers, and the best way to thank them is to provide honest and useful feedback with the evaluation at the conclusion of our session. Our text master, John, will drop the evaluation into chat towards the end of the session. If you miss it, don't worry, we'll email you at the conclusion of LACE. If you're not speaking, please place yourself on mute to avoid background noise. We have a fun and interactive session planned for today. If you want to see the speaker, make the presentation smaller and drag the speaker's window to the left. Please write your questions in chat and send them to me, and I will direct it to the speakers. Now, if I may introduce our speakers. Kim Province has been a Toastmaster since 2018. She's a member of 2 clubs and chartered her first club last year. She's currently serving as director for Area G1. Her previous roles was Area Director F, with holding club offices as president, VP of Education, VP Membership, and treasurer. Serving as a Toastmaster has helped her find her passion in assisting others enhance their leadership skills. David Freeman. David has been a Toastmaster since 2017. He also in 2 clubs. David has served as president, VP membership, secretary, and treasurer, plus served as Area G director. David sponsored a club last year. He's a multiple contest winner. He competed up to the division level. David is also an international speaker and a corporate trainer. On a personal note, David can be found sharing his musical gifts all over South County, engaging in the spiritual growth. He also wants us to know that he has a new granddaughter. So with that, we are ready. Kim, David, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Yvonne and John and Kathy, for helping us out today and making this possible. But thank you to all of our attendees for coming to our discussion. I just want to say, you can write your questions in chat and Yvonne will read them to us periodically throughout the presentation. But we're here today to have a discussion with you about pathways. So I ask you to please unmute yourself when asked to, different places within the section. If you have a burning desire to share with us a tip that we've maybe not gone into detail about that's very important to you when it comes to pathways, please unmute yourself and share it with our group. Through those introductions, it made me realize that my co-host today, Dave Friedman, was the one who brought me to Toastmasters. So I owe you a big thank you, Dave, not only for saying yes to speak with me today, but for bringing me to this great organization. So today, what we are going to share with you are it's a little grainy for some reason. How to engage your members with the benefits of the Pathways learning experience. the latest way to navigate around to show your members and yourself where you can see every project coming up without having to click through that sometimes slow online system. That's what I call your latest trips and tips. And then we have some resources that it will be provided in your handout that will get you to Susan Thompson's Troubleshooting with Pathways, which I myself, it's helped me to develop my passion for pathways.
I think you're waiting for me.
I am.
Good morning. This is a time when we'd like to hear from you guys. In addition to what we're going to share with you, what is it that you'd like to pick up? What are your questions? And if we have time, we'll address them. If not, we'll address them later. Turn on your mics, turn up your chat. Let's hear from you.
What brought you to our program today? What are you looking to gain?
I know you just wanted to hang out with us. Tony, go ahead.
Yes, well, I help people with pathways on a regular basis, at least twice a month. I help out with a group that does just that, helps people with pathways problems. And I'm here today to become better at that, to learn what I can about pathways and pass it on.
Beautiful.
Perfect. So you're part of Susan's group
Yes.
where you meet on the second
Yes.
Wednesday and fourth Monday of every month, right?
All the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have got me through some humps, that's for sure.
Jean-Claude.
Yes, I've noticed a lot of changes in the software. That's the new software. I'm just trying to make sure I understand the new way of navigating things. So I thought I'd just hang out here and maybe learn something. Thanks.
Beautiful. You never know. Pay attention. It could, no, we're going to talk about that today. So thanks for bringing that up. It's almost a perfect segue to our next slide, which is talking a little bit about this pathways thing and how underappreciated a tool it is. And those of us who have used it, taken advantage of it, realize how powerful it really is.
That's for sure, Dave. I know when I first came to Toastmasters, it was a year after Pathways had launched. And all I wanted was something on one page where I knew what projects were coming ahead of me because I was doing a lot of speaking already. And I just wanted to know how I could use it. So Pathways has 300 unique competencies that you can transfer into your professional and personal lives outside of Toastmasters. James, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Wonderful. This morning I was having a lot of trouble technically. Regarding this discussion, I have just rejoined in the past 6 months after being a Toastmaster more than a decade ago for probably 13 to 15 years. And it's such a difference between the old paper manuals and this new electronic way of doing business. I'm really looking forward to learning.
Thank you.
We found out during research that the old paper manuals were probably close to 100 years old.
Exactly. That's a really good point, Dave.
Let me bring this up to you guys now, and we will show you exactly what we're talking about when it comes to the new software. As you know, you can get to it through your website, toastmasters.org. There's 3 or 4 different ways. You go to the menu and hit educational programs. If your screen is bigger, you'll see that this here actually walks across the top. And if it's smaller, watch out for arrows like this one here. We're going to go look at pathways and show you the paths and projects, because this is really what you're interested in, is what it really looks like. And what you have here is a nice representation of all of the available paths. Like they're not all on the screen. How about that? See? What's really cool about this is by touching each one of these, it shows you what's available in each level. One thing I think is really cool is each path has mastering your fundamentals and learning your style, breaking it down, starting at the bottom, building a powerful foundation. Then you get to increase the knowledge pertinent to the exact path that you're on, while you then build your skills and then demonstrate it. Very well thought out. And within here, a lot of people come to Pathways and they say, I'd like to be a better speaker. But in the way they've laid this out, your speaking skills, your confidence skills, and your leadership skills are all helped at exactly the same time.
Dave, can you click on the effective projects on level 3, 4, and 5?
I would be happy to.
Personally, when I started on my first path, I did not become passionate about Pathways until I got to this level 3, 4, and 5. And then I was stung or shot like a bow and arrow for like Valentine. The Valentine arrow hit me and I fell in love with Pathways.
Pathways Cupid you're talking about.
Absolutely correct.
The Cupid way.
One thing too, that this tool is really good for you to pick your own path, but I want to talk a lot today about how to engage your members on Pathways. Because as Dave or as Yvonne told everybody last year, I chartered a first club of everyone was non-Toastmaster members, first-time Toastmaster members, except for Dave and one other person in my club. So now we are stuck with that challenge of how to get our members engaged with giving speeches off of Pathways. So this is something that we're going to touch. And I think by being able to show them, take a look at this. Take a look at these electives. How many work projects can you apply to Pathways? So not only can you find this on the website, but there is a printed catalog with all this information, which we share the link with you to this catalog in this PowerPoint presentation, and it's in your handout folder. So Dave, tell us how you apply speeches you do outside of our club to the Pathways program.
As you can see, as you go through here, big picture, all of these links are live. What would you like to look at? What we're going to show you today is, because people come to Toastmasters already with a life. It's potentially that a lot of people, unbeknownst to them, have done a lot of talks already that can be applied to your path. So for instance, right now, I'm working on engaging some humor. And in my electives, and there may be more, but we'll figure this out. For instance, one of the electives for level 4 is writing a compelling blog. Now, I've been doing that for a couple of years. I looked at what I was doing, saw how I could apply that to this level. And then, of course, I had to do a little bit of a talk to my group about it, and that's already done. Social speeches, anybody who's in a network group or is given a toast at a wedding or anything, you can apply that there. I've done some inspirational speakers for some audiences. I give a sermon, if you will, 2 times a month. We get credit for that kind of stuff. One of the things that I thought was really great about not only getting credit for everything that I've already done, but in going through the path and seeing what it is that they would like you to learn at this path, I really learned more about what I was doing and why. It's like, you know, they say that you don't really learn something until you teach it to somebody else. So once I've done this and I went back to see what, not only was like what they were looking for, but then I had to teach to everybody else what I was doing, it became a very, very powerful reiteration of my skill set, which helped me in so many different ways.
I want to make sure that everybody understands when utilizing this tool to chart things that you've done outside of your Toastmasters Club, you want to have your VP of education involved. So by having it charted out, I did this speech on this date. Here's the purpose that I find in Pathways and what my project objective is. Can you sign off on this as a pathway project? Or
Yes.
lots of times you have to come back, even though Dave completed his blog over the last 3 years, he did have to come to our club and tell us what he learned from us and why it was such a valuable project for him.
We are going to just show you this slide real quick to let you know that what we just showed you is available on your printout. If you look at this link down here, it's a live good link. So that's what that slide's for. Now this slide is to say, hey guys, we've just thrown you an awful lot of information. Anybody like to ask some questions?
I also put the file in the chat when you started talking about it.
Thanks. Anybody else have any questions about what we just went over?
Kathy Hughes has a hand up.
Kathy Hughes.
Oh, Kathy?
I love the fact that you can do speeches outside and projects outside of your Toastmasters Club. But I think I heard you say, and I believe this is the requirement, so correct me if I didn't hear this, you do have to give some kind of a speech in the Toastmasters Club, or if not, you have to have a Toastmaster present that could be your speech evaluator at the outside of Toastmasters event.
Either and or both. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Thank you.
We still want to get better as speakers, even though some of us are speaking. So the evaluation and the someone just giving you feedback is invaluable. Absolutely.
And I think Dave touched earlier that even though he had already completed the blog project, by going through the Pathways manual online and all the tips and what they taught him, he took away some lessons to make his blog going forward simpler.
Better, easier,
Okay.
right? Bloggier.
Are you my grammarian this afternoon?
Anything else real quick? Anybody else got questions, comments, ideas? All right, then. We're going to talk about helping.
There's a hand up by James.
Okay, James. You're muted, sir.
Or he's on his phone. I think you have to push like *7 or something on your phone, maybe.
I love having you as a tech master,
Okay,
John.
can you hear me now? I'm sorry. Can you? How far back, if you've given a speech a number of years ago, can you give an account of that speech to the club and have it credited or not?
I will tell you, I am not the master at this, but there is a link under the resources, which I can walk you through after this. If we have any time at the end, there is an educational link on the website. And if you go to that educational resources, and I believe it's in your profile page when you first get in there, if you click on it, there is a whole video on how you can apply your programs or your projects and what applies and what does not. So please take a look at that link and you can check it out and see if you can apply that project from 20 years ago.
Thank you.
Tony, I saw you shaking your head. Do you know more about that link or more about the qualifications of how far back it can go?
You're muted though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, use that resource links. There are so many great videos there for everything you would ever want to know about base camp manager, if you're a VPE or a club president or secretary, to can you apply a speech from 20 years ago to a Pathways project?
That's right. Yes.
Toastmasters has done a wonderful job through the migration of this program. You can it's taken 5 years, but we're getting there. So I can't wait to see where we are 2 years from now.
You're gonna have to.
Next slide, please.
It'll just be a lot of fun. The next slide we're gonna bring up is a very powerful slide, quite honestly, which has a lot to do with helping new members figure out how they're going to get their path. And this is a good thing. I'm gonna drive the spreadsheet and Kim's gonna explain it to you.
Great. So this is a tool that nobody uses, and Kathy Hughes shared it with me when I gave this program with Susan Thompson a couple months ago. But it's pretty simple. When a new member comes to you, you ask them, what are your goals? What are you looking to gain from Toastmasters? Lots of times you get that same thing. I want to be a better communicator. I found that now that I'm in my professional career, I get in groups of people and I'm supposed to present my ideas and I freeze or something of that nature. So if you write down the goals for your new members or members that have just rejoined, you'll be able to guide them to a great path. And the next slide we're going to show you is designed by Charlotte Wolf. At any rate, this particular path is dynamic leadership. So you're going to write the name of your member, you're going to write the path that they're on, and you're going to use column B to write down every single one of their projects. You'll see column A shows you the level of the project, 1, 2, 3 through 5. And then they have to fill out their titles once they give the speech. But if you tell them, if you give your speech every 3 weeks, you will be done with your first path in 1 year. So Dave, go ahead and show us by changing that green date, what it does for this new member that's just joined our club.
So let's say we're going to start next week, which is 2023. Plug it in
They're
there.
ready to give their icebreaker.
Watch the magic. Watch the magic. It's a beautiful thing. Look at that. Your whole schedule. So if you do this every 3 weeks, you will be done with this absolute path in February of next year.
Now, Dave, I'm really competitive and I think I can do a speech every 2 weeks. Can you manipulate it?
You go, girl. You can't from the very top one. That's your first one. But if you get below, if you see here, you can see that it's the date you put of starting plus how many days. So every 2 weeks, 14 days. So your next one is 2 weeks, and there you go.
All right. So
here's a trick. Here's a trick, Kim. You have to take what you did here and actually copy and paste it all the way down here.
Okay.
Copy and paste this all the way down because it adjusted itself for the original every 3 weeks. So every 2 weeks to get your project done is now going to get done in October of 23.
All right. That's sounding a little better to me. But wait a minute. On April 2nd, something came up and I couldn't do my speech evaluation. So what happens? I'm not going to give that speech until, April 9th.
What are you on vacation or something?
Mm-hmm.
Good for
Always.
you. Yeah, right. There you go. So we're going to change that date to the 9th here. Look what happened there.
It's magic.
It's magic.
It's a favorite tool of mine. You know why? Because it reminds me when somebody new starts as the VP of education of my club, I can actually give them some goals and maybe keep them accountable to our club and help us get that distinguished club that I always
This
want to
is
get.
starting that project that we just explained, your first level builds into this. Not only your distinguished club, but would you like to be a DTM?
I missed that. I
This is-
believe on the right-hand side of this tool, which is also embedded in the PowerPoint that you've received, and we've given you the actual Excel spreadsheet in the handout file. But on the right-hand side of it, it
Looks better
gives
there.
somebody all of the assets, all of the great things that Toastmasters offers to become a great leader. So here's your leadership opportunities. You've got the fill every role in your club. You can customize it because I know all of our clubs have different roles. And then the big one, I'm on that path to becoming a DTM, but right here on my goal sheet that I've set for myself, it tells me exactly what I need to do right at my fingertips.
James has his hand raised.
Go ahead, James.
Yes, I trust I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
What is the name of this tool? Where is it found?
I just put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. And does the VPE have a role in signing off on all of these before they get registered, or how does that work? Is it a paper and pencil thing?
It's online. VPE and the president can both give you confirmation online that you have finished each project, and they will take care of you. And that's all done online. There's a lot of
Thank you.
communication within the group, James, that will answer an awful lot of your questions. Everyone's on one hand kind of learning, but everybody has a separate part in the process. So definitely talk to the people in your group, in addition to us. And it looks like Tony is our local expert here. So I'm gonna say, Tony, I'm gonna put your phone number up on the telephone booth on the corner.
Please do. Feel free and put my email up there too.
And there's a
And
couple.
James,
Text me first.
if somebody can put, James, if you put your email in our chat right now, Susan Thompson can pick that up and put it in her, she sends out a bi-monthly reminder that this troubleshooting pathways is available, and the dates, the times, and the link to the Zoom. So, and also today at 3:20, there's going to be a troubleshooting pathways talk. So I really think you should go there. They're really going to show you some navigation tools. They'll have you share your screen and walk you through any areas that you're currently resisting to getting acclimated with the Pathways program.
Thank you.
There's a question about the slides becoming blurry. I think this may be related to resizing. For people who resized their slides, it may come out a little bit
This is
different.
better.
And the letters may become wide,
Is that
but
better?
not tall.
Is that better?
That looks
bit,
much
yeah.
better to me.
All right, good. Thanks for saying something. So this is a good way to manage the project that you'd like to manage, and how are you going to get timed? One of Kim's favorite slides coming up next is, what is it in depth? What is the in depth that you'd actually really like to learn your project? Because we have a lot of different levels of engagement here.
Well, I think sometimes when people come to our club, people are from all walks of life. Sometimes they're a stay-at-home parent that has just joined PTA and they have to stand up in front of a group of people and express their ideas. There's others like myself. When I came, I was already a leader, but I still had some hesitancy in speaking in front of large groups. And then you have those that are, what do I want to say, C-level, and they can go straight to effective coaching. They're really looking how to coach their teams already at work with leadership. I'm currently doing the persuasive influence, but what this is right here is Charlotte Drake. Charlotte Drake is a distinguished Toastmaster, and when this transition happened with Toastmasters and Pathways, she really took a liking to it from the get-go. She is our guru. I'm sure she's the one that, I know she trained Susan, and I'm sure she also trained Tony too. But she actually did an analysis and put them in Group A, Group B, and Group C. Group A is the simplest. You can get through them quicker. Group B is mediocre. Or I don't want to say mediocre, a little tougher. And then Group C is what we call a high performance leadership project, or HPL project. As you know, we all speak in acronyms here at Toastmasters. When you get to a high performance leadership program, I think it's their way of getting you to step up into leadership and maybe become a speech contest master, or an area director, or start a new club. I'm doing my HPL project right now on the club that I just started. So this is just a really good thing for you to have at your fingertips when you're choosing your first, second, or third path, or helping a new member choose their path.
Any thoughts, ideas about how this might apply, or do you have questions? Just another way that Pathways has thought through the process of making the whole Toastmaster experience quantifiable, if you will, for exactly what it is that you're looking for.
I think there are only two paths that have nothing is required in leadership. Those would be presentation mastery and engaging humor. And all the other paths expect you to do some kind of a leadership project, or lead as a volunteer, or a project like that.
That's because people who do humor are generally the only ones who think they are funny, so they don't need a team to lead.
That's
James.
quite funny.
You have a question, James?
Not really a question, but a comment. I have chosen the engaging humor path. And the reason I have is I get in a lot of serious stuff. I'm a prostate cancer survivor. I've been very active in the survivor activist community for over 20 years. And so often, humor is a wonderful way to engage an audience and to make everybody feel that they're part of the human experience together. And so, to me, humor is a pretty key element of leadership. And I think some of our great leaders have used humor very effectively. Personally, I've used it at times, but there have been so many opportunities where I wish I had been more skilled at it. So I'm glad that you don't have to practice leadership in that one, but I'm really hoping to learn something so I can take advantage of that skill.
It's a good way to look at it, James. And I know that you'll be successful because you want to. And that's really important here.
And you and Dave both are on engaging humor in your speeches. I wanted to take that one, James, but I'm always so serious. I was like, is it going to be too challenging for me? And it's going to be my next path. I'm on level 4 right now, so it's almost there. I mean, I'm in level 5 on a path right now, so I might be joining you soon.
And just because this came to me, and I think we have about a minute and a half, as an aside, one of the things that I think would be most important about this particular path is that level 2, what is your space? What kind of they all go, what kind of presentation master do you have? What kind of leadership do you have? What kind of persuasion are you? In this case, it's what kind of humor are you actually all about? I'm generally, I guess, a funny guy. People seem to think so, and I get a kick out of myself. But to be quite honest about it, it's a challenge for me to plan to put humor in a speech. I'm a really off the top kind of guy. So it's really going to help me as a speaker put that kind of stuff in there and be a little bit more engagingly humorous. Yeah, reach out to me if you want to talk about this. We can have some fun. When,
Kathy Hughes writes that engaging humor was her favorite path, and she's doing it for a second time right now.
there you go. Okay, now there's three
I just
people
have a
right there.
quick question before we get to our next section, which is achievements and recognition letters. But how many here in this group have completed all the paths? Anybody? I can't see our entire audience. I know the last time that Susan and I did this together, there was somebody in our room that had completed all the paths. And Marty, did you have your hand up? No. Okay.
No, but I know
Right.
someone who did complete all 11.
And they're going through again. They got so much out of it. I did some research last night. There is this hidden platform behind Pathways. And I learned about that in my last session on this. And I did some research about the transition from the manual to Pathways, and also the group that has this educational program that we are so blessed to have as Toastmasters members. The organizations that utilize this program are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get access to these 300 competencies that we can gain through going through Pathways. And I think that's a really valuable point about this experience. It cost a lot of money if we went directly as a corporation or an individual person to get access to this educational program. There's an 81-page document that was a thesis that was done at the University of Boston in 2020 about the transition for Toastmasters from the old catalog to the Pathways program. And it's a best practices. And I encourage all of our district leaders and leaders within Founders District to take a look at it. I'll email it to you. It's got some really valid points in it. At any rate, let's move on.
So we talked a little bit about, Kim dropped a little bit of a hint about achievement. Pathways is a very cool thing that can help you in your work. Kim?
So I have my own company, and I really didn't need a recognition letter to go to my boss. But as a VPE or president or any base camp manager that's completing level 3, 4, or 5, there's this great resource for your members. And it says, would you like a letter of recognition to go to your boss? So me, of course, because I'm so passionate about Pathways, I said yes, and I sent it to myself. And I thought, okay, these letters are all going to be the same. But if you get into that second paragraph, Dave, get into the detail of that. Can you read that, please?
Completing level 4 on this path demonstrates willingness to contribute to the Toastmasters organization and a commitment to accomplishing goals. The projects that make up the higher levels of the persuasive influence path focus on building strong interpersonal and leadership skills while working with a team to overcome challenges. Along with a continued emphasis on public speaking, the member created a complex plan and managed possible risks to the plan. You don't think your boss would really appreciate that insight as to your skills. That's powerful.
And if you're somebody like me, I don't print my achievement records, but you know what? I took some sentences from there and I updated my resume and my curriculum vitae. So there's some great resources that I don't think are really being utilized, but this letter, it comes in an email format. I copied it and pasted it just so everybody can see how valuable they really are, but it comes from the CEO of Toastmasters International, Daniel Rex, who's probably not the CEO this year, but I'm not sure of that.
And if you like these, you can have these certificates that will show up and you can hang them on your wall.
That's when you complete a path. This one is Kathy Hughes. Is it more engaging humor?
I want to be real quick, Kim. I'm going to interrupt you. The red light's on. So
Okay.
I guess we're done. Have we had our 30 seconds more than the stoplight allows?
No, we got 2 minutes before the survey, maybe 3.
So I just want to make sure that everybody knows while we're looking at this certificate, if you can go back, Dave, please. While we're looking at this certificate of completing a pathways, we're in contest season, or it's just on rolling. Remember that in order to qualify for the International Speech Contest, above or at the area level and above, not your clubs, but area level and above, you must complete 2 paths. So you need 2 certificates of proficiencies to qualify, but not for Tall Tales. Tall Tales is for everybody. New members, old members, no qualifying for Tall Tales. Next slide, please.
This just supports what we've done. I checked all these links. They're all good. Go out, learn some more. And
don't forget to go to Susan Thompson's workshop this afternoon at 3:20. Kathy, can you redrop that link, please?
Kathy would like to speak.
Absolutely. And Kim, that last slide, that was my certificate. That was completing a whole path. Members
Correct.
don't need to do that, 2 whole paths to compete, just 2 levels.
Oh,
One
thank you.
level.
Sorry,
Good
just
call.
the first 2 levels.
So there you go, guys. Thank you very much for coming out. Any last minute questions? Marty, you have your hand raised up?
No, I have my hand raised up. This is Gene. Regarding the things that are in the chat, when can we download those, or are they going to be emailed to us, the documents?
John?
You can download the files now. I'll be dropping the survey link in about a minute. There are 3 files. I'll add the 3 again. Kathy probably has a better idea of what happens after this meeting ends.
I was going to say, I'll need a little time to get all of the handouts, the slide decks, and the video of this session to you, but I would think that I would have it to you within a week's time from today.
Perfect. And Kathy, I've uploaded everything to that shared file.
Thank you.
Okay.
What I'll use to send
Yes.
everyone on this meeting.
So once again, to clarify, the information that you provided will be sent to each one of us via email. Is that correct?
Everyone that registered for this session, I will send it to the email that you used when you registered for this session.
So once again, all the documents that either
All
can
the
download
documents.
now or whatever. All right, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah. I just added them at the end if you want to get them now. I also added the survey, so please give feedback to the speakers.
Okay.
With that, thank you everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your input and your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to Kathy, Yvonne, and John for the support. It does take a village.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you,
Did
Linda.
anyone
Thank
have
you,
any more?
Wilson.
Anyone have any more questions? We got 4 minutes, so we have to shut down this room so they can start the next one.
I have one more.
Go
Hi,
ahead.
my
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, my name is it's Kelly. I'm from Toastmasters in our Disney land group. I was wondering, what piece of advice would you offer to a person building confidence in Toastmasters?
To my word of advice is to fulfill every role available within your club and try and do it in the first 3 months. On top of give speeches, give speeches, give speeches. But I feel by I know a lot of members just by filling roles because they have to speak. For me, I'm going to be honest, everybody. It took me a year to complete level 1 and level 2 on pathways because I was so intimidated by it. And then once I hit level 3 and got to the electives where I can pick and utilize pathways with my work at the same time, I finished it like in 90 days.
Oh, right.
And if I could add something, Kelly, participate, speak, take on the roles, just get used to getting over yourself, put yourself out there. It's your life, live it. It's a lot more fun.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And rehearsal reduces ahs and ums. James also has something to say.
Yes, just regarding getting through the pathways. In 1999, I'd completed ATM Silver. I was working on ATM Gold. That's when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And all of a sudden, I was, in effect, I still participated in Toastmasters for about 5 years, but I was on the front line. It's like somebody who gets pulled out of a military academy and all of a sudden they're at the front. And I was putting all my skills to work. And I guess the point of what I'm saying is it really pays to master these skills as soon as you can, as well as you can, because you never know when you might be in an environment where all of a sudden your path gets really diverted and you are on the front line somewhere.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got a minute.
Toastketeers.
Toastketeers. Isn't that a new club?
Kelly, is that Coastketeers? Is that what you said?
Oh no, it's a Toastmasters.
Toastmasters.
Thank you.
It's at Disneyland. And that's one. And then I think we have a studio one, and they say Toastmasters.
Yeah.
So
I'd also like to suggest for someone it feels like who's a little reluctant, who really wants this but still is going like this. This is an extremely supportive organization. The people in your group want you to succeed, and so you don't have to go this alone. You've got support, and it doesn't have to be within your group. Reach out to anybody you feel comfortable with them. Like, okay, reach out to me if you feel comfortable. I won't speak for everybody.
thank you.
If you're a winner in your club speech contest, go to other clubs.
That's what I was going to say. And I was going to say, and once you're comfortable at your club, visit another club and step up and volunteer for a role, because then you get outside of your comfort level. And that's the name of the game. Like Dave just said, just step up and do it. First time your heart's going to be racing. The second time you're going to be, oh, it wasn't that bad. And the third time it's going to be like, it was so easy to be the Toastmaster of that meeting.
Okay, folks. Well, we need to wrap up so the next tech master can start the next session.
Thank you again,
Thank you.
everybody, and especially to you, John and Yvonne, for helping us out today. We'll see you all in other LACE training sessions.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.